Hello, welcome to Finsbury Park. We're slightly delayed start here and a very spicy microphone. Ooh. Didn't realize it was that spicy. Sorry to yell into your ears. Croydon Pirates facing off against the London Mets. London Mets 14-4 now on the season, sitting 4 games clear of the second place Essex Arrows. They've been on a tear these last couple months after a bit of a shaky start in April, where they were briefly 500. They are back to their usual selves. On the mound, it's Chris St. Pierre, who gave us an immaculate inning last time we were here. Dylan Lawler is in the box. The Pirates' shortstop. Batting second will be Domarkis Moreta. Batting third, Jack McCarthy. Batting fourth, Tyler Thompson. Play called in the first pitch is a slider outside and away, ball one. Chris St. Pierre has really lowered his ERA over the past few innings. He's been a victim of some bad luck early in the season as he pushes in a fastball low for a cold strike. But he's back in his winning ways, and his ERA has come down from like an 8 to a 3 and change. That's a fastball just outside, ball two. And a similar pitch, still low. Lawler works himself into a hitter's count and takes a late strike. He was throwing his bat, expecting the call to be a ball, maybe with a little bit of selling it. But that will run the count full. That was a good low fastball from Chris St. Pierre, just getting into the zone, climbing the ladder a little bit. That one's a fastball down the middle, hit high into center field. Connor Brown is under it for the catch, and there's one away. I think that's Connor Brown in center. It looks like him. We should check the defensive alignment for the Mets. Excuse me, that was Ryan Dixon in center field with the catch. Connor Brown is behind the plate as usual. Shows bunt, pulls back, takes a strike anyway. Nice pitch from Chris St. Pierre. Robert Jacobs is in right field. Jackson Pollard in left. As another fastball inside for a strike, and quickly ahead is Pierre. 0-2. Cosgrove at 5, Donahue at 6, Brendan Power at second base, Mike Banagale at first. Hopping grounder over to short, handled nicely by Donahue, fired across for the out. Good fielding. And there's quickly 2 away here. Well, not so quickly. I guess we had, 8 pitches? But I think St. Pierre will be happy with his work. Jack McCarthy, the center fielder, steps in, takes a fastball inside, swinging strike. I thought he took that pitch initially. There's been so many cold strikes, but no, he did offer at it. Swings at the next one, similar pitch. This one's tailing foul down the third base line, out of play. Would have found the seats if we had seats out there, and it's 0-2. Called strike 3, frozen. And that's all she wrote for the Pirates in the top of the first. Coming up for your Mets, Mike Banagale batting first, Joe Cosgrove batting second, Connor Brown batting third, Ryan Dixon will clean up. Tyler Thompson on the mound for the Pirates. 1-2. Not that that means anything with a 9.23 ERA. Not that that means anything. Would be nice to see xFIP on these. Play calls. Oh, fastball just outside by the looks of it. Mike Banagale swinging deep to right field. It's out of here. And the Mets are on the board with the second pitch. Beautiful left-handed pull stroke from Mike Banagale. And it's a 1-0 game. Joe Cosgrove, excuse me, not Joz Joe Grove, is going to have to follow that up. Hopefully with an entree. Swing and a miss, strike one. He's trying to get a second home run with that stroke. That one's low and in the dirt, ball one. Good eye is the call as takes ball 2-1. Joe Cosgrove batting a 410 with a 1.128 OPS easily. the Mets' best hitter as he fouls that one away. 2-2. Only the one home run, but he has 16 hits and only 39 at bats with a 410 average. And 11 walks adding to that. This is going to be an easy ground out for the Pirates, though, as it scribbles over to third for the out. And Connor Brown will step in. Connor Brown batting .429 with a 1.4 OPS so far. Last I looked, his average was a little bit lower than his teammate Joe Cosgrove, but it looks like it's crept up over that threshold. I guess you could call Connor Brown the Mets' best hitter as he takes ball high and inside, chin music. Fastball. Looks like he fouled it into his foot or maybe into the dirt. In any case, it will be a foul ball, 1-1. The 1-1. Low and outside. Ball 2. Connor Brown works himself into a hitter's count. And the ball disappears momentarily, but is found by the umpire. Petter Nordwall is behind the plate today, as Connor Brown takes ball 4 and puts himself on base. Base umpire is David Jones. That's lined into left field. It's going to bounce all the way to the wall and out of play. And the Pirates get a break there because Connor Brown was going to score on that ball if it did not get over the fence. As it is, it will be second and third. Still only one out. So Robert Jacobs, who's been promoted up to the cleanup spot, or sorry, just shy of the cleanup spot, number 5. Batting a healthy .367 with a .961 OPS. Right down the middle, strike 1. Just what the doctor ordered for the Pirates. They could love a strikeout here. Robert Jacobs trying to add on here after the leadoff home run. Oh! I think that hit him. And Robert Jacobs will step down to first base. That was a dangerous high fastball, clearly not intentional. So bases loaded for the Mets, and Brendan Power will step in looking to do some damage here. The solo home run from Mike Banagale on the second pitch of the game is the difference so far. But they would love to add on more here in the first inning. Hard hit ball into center field. Under it. That's going to score 1. And on the throw, Connor Brown will advance. So the Mets have 2. Good productive out from Brendan Power. Makes this a 2-0 game in the Mets' favour. And Brendan Donahue, the shortstop, who made a very tough play look easy in the first inning to produce the 3rd out, will stripe into the box. Will step into the box. I said stripe into the box because he's wearing the stripiest pants you've ever seen. That's a bouncing ball in the dirt. 1-0. Brendan Donahue, newly promoted. Numbers 7, 8, and 9. Oh, there's going to be a steal attempt and the throw, and he slides home. He's safe. Robert Jacobs is going to go to 3rd after all that. The throw down to 2nd was late. They had no chance of getting a speedy Robert Jacobs. Ryan Dixon immediately took advantage and found his way home. So all of a sudden it's 3-0 Mets. That's hit hard into the gap. It's going to find the grass, and another run will score for the Mets on the RBI single from Brendan Donahue. And the Mets are raking today. It's quickly 0-4. Peter Fornaciero will have his chance to add on. Still only 1 out. Fastball down the middle, strike 1. Throw down the first is late. Brendan Donahue scrambles back to the bag. That was a great piece of hitting from Donahue. Beautiful launch angle. No chance to get it from either the center fielder or the left fielder. This one's cut under. It's high. Second baseman is under it, makes the catch. Ended up being a bit of a can of corn in the end, and that'll be all she wrote. But the Mets get 4. And it's 0-4 going into the top of the 2nd when we come back. So, after a lead-off home run from Mike Banagale, sac fly from Brendan Power, a steal of home from Ryan Dixon, and then an RBI single from Brendan Donahue, the Mets get 4, and Pirates looking to respond here, but that's a cold strike on a lead-off fastball from Chris St. Pierre, who's pitched well so far, had a 9-pitch first inning. As that one bounces back to the backstop, foul ball. And St. Pierre once again ahead in the count, 0-2. That's a chopper, Baltimore chopper, back to the mound and fired quickly over to first for the out. Nicely handled by Chris St. Pierre. The ball does hop here at Finsbury Park. It causes all sorts of problems for the infield, but Chris St. Pierre fielded his position beautifully and gets the out. So aside from one count that went full, Chris St. Pierre has been efficient. And going to be efficient again as that one finds the left fielder, but it's missed. He's dropped it. There was a bit of a collision there between Jackson Pollard and Brendan Donahue. And Pollard looks like he might be a little bit hurt out there. It was a tough play. He had to run in hard to get it. Donahue was also tailing back from short. I feel like Pollard may have had that ball if it were not for the collision. It was in his glove and then out again. But it will likely go down as a double. And Pollard is on his feet and walking away. That's a good sign. Could have been dangerous. Donahue will be all apologies there, but he did what he should have done in trying to get to that ball. It could have been anyone's ball. Angel Tejada will be the batter. Excuse me, no. Angel Tejada is on second with the double. Timo Sali will be the batter. And that's a sharp fastball just inside. Ball 1. Nice pitching from St. Pierre. There has been no hard contact this inning. Slider away, 2-0. So the Pirates have their second hitters count of the game. Can they do anything with it? Fastball down the middle, swung under in a deep center field. Did he make that catch? He did. Extraordinary fielding. He's going to try to go home as a pay at the plate. He is out by 2 steps. My goodness. Ryan Dixon with a screamer of a catch in center field and then throws him out at home. Double play. And the Mets walk off the field. No damage done from the Pirates. It's still 0-4. Some conversation between the Pirates and the umpires as to whether that ball was fairly caught. They're arguing it went over the fence. I don't think that's what we saw, but we can have a look later. The snow fence here at Finsbury Park causes all sorts of problems. There was a funny one when I was umpiring yesterday where the ball went against the fence and then up the fence and over. And there was some discussion as to whether we should rule it a ground rule double, because it looked a little bit like, if you remember, Jose Altuve's ground rule double all the way back in 2018 had a similar profile. It bounced against the fence and then went into the stands, rather than on top of and over the fence, which would obviously be a home run. But that one was ruled a ground rule double. We also ruled ours a ground rule double. But it might be something which actually requires a ground rule here, in the old-fashioned sense of just tell us what it is. It's hard for us to rule on if there ain't no ground rule. In any case, that was ruled a catch, and it ended up being a double play, and there's going to be some discussion about it, but we're not going to review it. We're not going to replay it. We'll move on. The day we get instant replay on this channel, the day we really get controversies, but Tyler Thompson stays on the mound for the Pirates. Jack Pollard will climb in for his first NBL at bat for the Mets this season. It was Pollard who got into that collision in left field, but looks okay as he steps into the box. Righty on lefty. And ball is in the dirt. Ball one. Pollard and Joe Cosgrove have matching flash red sunglasses. I don't know if they planned that. That one's high and outside. Ball two. You get batters complaining if you wear that at second base, but they're at third and left field, so nobody cares. That one finds the zone. Nice fastball from Tyler Thompson. 2-1. Swing and a miss, strike two, and after a 2-0 start, Thompson has pitched his way back into an even count, 2-2. When the Pirates have found the zone, the Mets have been swinging. And they've been swinging well. That one's low and inside, ball three, and that'll provoke a short conversation from the catcher, or a word of encouragement at the very least. That's another ball in the dirt, uncompetitive pitch, ball four, and the Mets have their leadoff man on in the form of Jack Pollard, and that'll bring up the top of the order. Mike Banagale will step in, who has seen two pitches from Tyler Thompson, and one of them went over the fence. Swings his bat low over the plate, doesn't tap it. Sort of a Matt Olson type of preparation. Takes a strike down the middle. Well, Thompson so far has kind of showed us two pitches. He showed us a fastball and he showed us one that ends up in the dirt. I don't know if he has a secondary, but he hasn't had much control over it, if it has. If it exists, I should say. That one's low and inside. Ball one. Mike rehearses his swing, steps back into the box. Again, just grazing his bat over the top of the plate and awaits the 1-1. That one's a throw over to first, but no risks for Jack Pollard as he scrambles in safely. Could have been a close play, but he wasn't too far off the bag there. And now he goes. And that will be an uncontested steal for Jack Pollard. Nice piece of running. Gets checked and then immediately takes off. Love to see it. So that puts a runner into scoring position. That one's way inside. I think it went behind him. Didn't hit him somehow. And that will be the 3-1, I believe. Or was it 2-2? 2-2, I believe. Swung under into center field. Center fielder is under it, makes the catch. There's going to be a play at third, potentially. No, the throw is late and cut off. So a slightly productive out from Mike Banagel, gets the runner over to third. And there'll be one out with Pollard on third for Joe Cosgrove. Righty on righty now. Winds and deals, and it's high. Not by much. Ball one. That was a good pitch from Tyler Thompson, but unfortunately he hasn't found the zone enough to be tempting. That's a called strike on the outside half of the plate. Beautiful pitch from Tyler. He looks a bit surprised that he found the zone with that, but it's 1-1. Nice. Was that a curve? Was that a changeup? It had a little bit of shape on it. Nice pitch. So we see a good secondary finally from Thompson. It earns him a 1-2 count. Joe Cosgrove was just left frozen on that pitch. Now he's really hunting. The 1-2. And that one's in the dirt ball too. Gives Joe a chance to reset. Jack Pollard looks a bit bored over at third there. He just wants to score and make this a 5-0 game. That's a chopper over to second. Only players at first. That will score a run. And the Mets add on. Get him on, get him over, get him in. And it's 0-5 with 2 outs for Ryan Dixon. Excuse me, Connor Brown. I'm getting ahead of myself. Ryan Dixon is on deck. First pitch swinging and cut back to the backstop into the netting. 0-1. I don't know if that ball's going to come down again. Sometimes they come down when you least expect it. That one's just low. 1-1. Good pitch from Tyler. He's pitched much better in this inning than in the first inning so far. A little bit unlucky, you have to say, to allow a run. That one's inside, ball 2. The 2-1. That's outside, 3-1. Connor Brown might give himself a green light here. He's been seeing it well. A walk and a run for his trouble. But no, he'll settle for ball 4 as it's in the dirt, and the Mets will slide another runner onto the bases. Ryan Dixon, the center fielder, steps in. He's had a hit and a run already in this game. Thompson to Dixon. First pitch swinging into the gap in left field. And that's going to dribble under the fielder's glove and out of play. Time is called. It'll be second and third for the Mets on the ground rule double. That really should have been a single, but it got bobbled by the left fielder out there. It might go down as a single and an error. But the snow fences offer the Pirates a little bit of reprieve as no run will score. Second and third, 2 outs for Robert Jacobs. Time asked for and granted by the batter. It's a long wait on the mound before anything happened. And we'll get back into it. High and inside, some chin music, 0-1. Robert Jacobs unfazed. He's been hit once in this game already with a pretty nasty inside fastball. But that one didn't phase him either, and he ended up scoring. So no problems for Jacobs so far. He takes strike 1 down the middle. Jacobs has found some patience this season, and that's really paid off at the plate. I cannot recall the last time he struck out as he takes ball 2 outside. That's a chopper bounding ball foul down the third base line. Evens up the count 2-2. Swing and a miss. And that will be strike 3 and out number 3 for the Pirates. But the Mets get one more, and it's 0-5 going to the third inning. St. Pierre stays on the mound for the Mets to try to maintain this shutout. And for the scorers, that did indeed go down as an error in the previous inning. 2 errors now for the Pirates already. Ambiorich Hurtado. Ambiorich, maybe? I need to ask him afterwards. Hurtado steps into the box, takes strike one. Swings under that one. It's into right field. Robert Jacobs is under it, makes the catch. And Hurtado doesn't even get to first base as it was a pretty sharply hit ball. It was almost a line drive, but it was just right on a line to Jacobs, and he didn't even have to move. So a bit of bad luck for the Pirates, really, but it's one away, and Angel Medrano will step into the box. The right fielder takes strike one on a nice slider from St. Pierre. One and one. St. Pierre dealing nicely here today, and elicits a swing and a miss on a dipping. Don't know whether he calls that a curve or a slider, but it has a lot of shape to it, and the batter was nowhere near it. That swung into right field. That's foul, just foul. The Pirates cannot get a break here. That looked like it would stay fair into the very last second, and it would have been an easy double, maybe even a triple. But Medrano will be 1 and 2 against St. Pierre. St. Pierre shakes off a sign, takes the second one. And an ugly swing and a miss, but it's dropped. And it's a tough throw over to first, but it does make the out on the drop third strike. That was a great recovery from Connor Brown. Looked like it would be a strikeout and a base for the Pirates, but between Brown and a beautiful lunge from Mike Banagale, they make the out. 2 away for Mark Bonney. Swing and a miss, strike one. Just missed it. Challenged him with the fastball and beat him. And Chris St. Pierre has been all over these Croydon batters. Swing and a miss, strike two. Quickly ahead. St. Pierre always takes a nice big deep breath between pitches. Called strike three, frozen. And a 1, 2, 3 inning. They're all out going into the top of the fourth. In at the bottom of the third, Brendan Power steps in to face Tyler Thompson. Power with a RBI in the first inning takes strike one, and Thompson has found his curvy, changey something, but it's a pitch with shape on it. We love to see it. That's a bounding ball over to shortstop, nicely handled and fired over to first for the out. It was a tough play, but between the shortstop Lawler and the first baseman Bonnie, they made it look easy. Nice piece of fielding from the Croydon Pirates. They love to see that after a couple errors, put them behind in this game. One away from Brenton Donahue, the shortstop. And first pitch swinging, first pitch crushing into left field. That's going to find the fence, and it's going to bounce off into the corner and through the fence. And that'll be a ground rule double. Beautiful piece of hitting from Brendan Donahue, justifying his inclusion in the side. And his first two at-bats in the NBL this season have been 2 hits. Peter Fornaciero will step in with 1 out and a man on second. High fastball taken for ball 1. Fornaciero, the only Met not to be on base so far in this game. Can he join the party? That one's chopped at his feet for a foul ball. A parade of shortstops has tried to fill the void of Quinn Cotton. But the Mets have so far held the position well defensively and produced some offense from it occasionally as well. And a little bit of conversation going on the mound. Not entirely sure why. Weird to have a conversation after a check. That's what's going on. And for a second there, I thought there was a balk called because everybody seemed to suddenly want to have a conversation. But no, it's just people wanted to have a conversation. Maybe they saw a nice bird in the outfield. I don't know. Who knows? Usually some nice birds in the outfield. Usually a couple of crows or something. Don't see any here today. Had a crowd of Egyptian geese on opening day. They camped out in the outfield for a while, but a little bit worried because a goose is a big enough creature you can easily hit it with a ball, but they seem to be enjoying themselves, and no unfortunate events happened, and everybody was happy. Hopefully, they enjoyed the game as well. That doubleheader was split with the Toucans. And now there's a conversation with the umpire, but I'll be damned what it's about. Some conversation about where the lines are and where I don't know. The lines are pretty straight. They're often a bit weird at Finsbury Park. Partly it's because the ground is undulating and uneven, and the line can only be so straight. But I thought they did a pretty good job today, all things considered. notwithstanding the drama with the boxes and the plate. So for those of you who missed it, we had a bit of an adjustment that needed to be made to the angle of the plate, and then the boxes had to be adjusted as well. But that was all done in about 5 minutes, and the grounds crew, also known as the players, made a pretty good effort to get things sorted to the umpire's satisfaction. Nordwall is going to wander over to the home dugout just to make sure we're all on the same page. I think the Pirates are a little bit upset that that ball didn't stay fair for them in the previous inning, but I don't know why they're having a conversation about it now when their pitch is getting cold and the Mets are at bat. Surely that's something you would do between innings when you're not icing your pitcher. Who knows? And the chalk is coming out. So I guess Petter Nordwall has agreed with the Pirates that we could have some clarification with the chalk. And we'll try to get it right this time and make that line a little bit clearer. I think the infield line is probably okay, but the outfield line probably needs a little bit of work if I'm guessing. But maybe they'll just do the whole thing. And string is coming out. We'll take a short break, and once we've got everything sorted, we will resume the inning. So all set to restart here, 1-1 in the bottom of the third with one out. Got the lines repainted. Everybody's happy for now. That's a foul tip into the glove for strike two. Just missed it. Peter Forniciero with a wry smile on his face as he knows he could have gotten pretty good contact there potentially, but the 1-2 righty on righty is high and outside. Fastball missing the zone, ball two. Let's jam a baby is the call from the dugout. And oh, called strike three. That was a difficult pitch to hit. It was inside and high, almost unhittable. Change up from Thompson freezes him, and the Pirates get their second out, and that'll bring up Jackson. Sorry, I keep calling him Jackson. It's Jack Pollard, the left fielder. There's so many Jacksons in baseball. We got Jackson Chorio, we got Jackson. What's the guy's name in the Brewers? Jackson something. Or misses outside. We had a lot of fun in 2024 about betting on which Jackson would end up with the best stats because there was a lot of Jacksons in MLB trying to make their mark as rookies or as sophomores. The 1-0 to Pollard, swing and a miss. Strike one. Thompson has pitched well over the last two innings. He had a very complicated first inning, but has settled in really well here. And it was only a bit of creative batting which got a run in for the Mets in the second. The rest of their runs all came in the first inning. The 2-1 is just low. The catcher hopping as he took that pitch is possibly a little bit unhappy that wasn't called a strike. It was close, but I think the umpire had that right. I think it was just below the knees there. Oh, that has a very low crouch, sort of a Z shape in the box, and takes a strike. Then beautiful pitch from Thompson, and it's a full count. The throw skips off the mound and trickles into middle of the infield, but there's no movement from Brendan Donahue on second base. Righty on lefty to Pollard. Swing and a miss, strike three. He got him. Well done from Thompson. Holds the Mets scoreless in the third. We'll go over to the fourth inning. Still 0-5 with the Mets in the lead. Oh, I'm like the guys on the TV. I missed a pitch, so it's ball one, slider away from Chris St. Pierre to a guy, Dylan Lawler. Dylan Lawler's riding as he takes strike one down the middle. He is hitting 302 with a 939 OPS, one of Croydon's best hitters. And he plays shortstop. He cuts that one. It's high and foul out of play. A lot of power behind that swing, but not even a badly drawn line could have brought that ball in. So a bit of an unlucky 1-2 here for Lawler. He swings that one. That's a little dribbler into the middle of the infield. It's going to be a challenging play, and he's dropped it. It was a really, really tough play there for Brendan Power. The ball just kind of leaked off the bat over the pitcher's head into no man's land in front of second base. And Power just bobbled that ball as he tried to come up with it. It would have been a tough play anyway. It might even go down as a hit. So for the first time, the Pirates have their leadoff man on, and it's 0 outs for Domarkis Moreta as he takes ball one, a slider away from Pierre, from St. Pierre, 1-0. Shows bunt, and it's a strike. 1-1. He did not pull back. So I feel like Dylan Lawler, Lawler, not lawyer, should try to steal here. Pirates really need to get a run on the board. That one's cut back to the netting. Strike two. And it's another 1-2 count for St. Pierre. But making this a 4-run game would just be a massive moral victory, you'd think, for the Pirates. But he takes strike three. Oh, a beautiful fastball from St. Pierre freezes him. And the Mets get their first out in the fourth. And kind of an awkward situation as Moreta, I think, thought that was strike two for a second. I don't know what he was thinking, but he was kind of hanging around the box, looking all out of sea, and just could not find his land legs, and eventually makes his way to the dugout. But that's ball one low from St. Pierre. To Jack McCarthy. Jack McCarthy batting 433 with a 1.13 OPS. As he takes ball two low. Jack McCarthy has a home run, 3 doubles, 7 ribbies, and 19 total bases for the Pirates. Pretty productive hitter so far this season. He swings over that one for a swinging strike. 2-1. That's a chopper into the middle of the infield. Shortstop comes up with it, but throws wide of the lunging Brendan Power. And should have shoveled it, you think, to second base as an overarm throw. It was way too slow. And with 2 infield hits, the Pirates have men on first and second. That will bring up the lefty, Jack McCarthy. Excuse me, Tyler Thompson. Tyler Thompson, the pitcher. Did he throw right and bat left? Is that right? Anyway, That one's outside, and it's going to go all the way back to the backstop, and the runners are going to advance to second and third on the wild pitch. That was in and out of the glove for Connor Brown. Might even go down as a pass ball. Connor Brown tapping his chest in apology. It looked like he had the ball. It was maybe even hit his glove, maybe even was in his glove briefly. Ball 3 outside. But just could not corral it. And that's a chopper back to the mound, looks back third, fires over to first for the out. And there's an infield chopper which does not result in a hit or an error. And the Mets have out number 2. That's a very fortunate piece of luck for the Mets, and a 3-0 count with only 1 out and 2 men in scoring position. Somehow they manufacture an out. St. Pierre trying to pull a Houdini here. Beautiful change up, slider maybe? Slidey change up. Slide up. Finds his own strike number 1. As a fastball low and away, ball 1. I don't think that's quite where he wanted that pitch, but maybe trying to elicit the swing. When you go from the secondary to the primary, you've got to find a similar spot. That one swung under into foul territory. There will be no play. It does find the grass in play, but there's no fielders near it. It was just too far down the line. But it will put Chris St. Pierre ahead in the count to Timo Sali 1-2. Timo Sali batting 313 for the Pirates. St. Pierre now 1 strike away from remaining unscathed through 4 innings. And a swing and a miss gets him. Extraordinary work from St. Pierre. The Pirates threaten, but come up empty, and it's still 0-5. Nothing to 5. I don't know why it said 0-4. Apologies for that. So Tyler Thompson stays on the mound for the Pirates. He's had 3 good innings, 1 bad inning, and Mike Banagale steps into the box to face him, a left-hander, righty on lefty. Banagale started us off with a home run on the second pitch of the game, and the Mets have not looked back. It is now 0-5 as he takes ball 1 away. And the second pitch is high and outside, ball 2. Mets have been raking all day long, but Thompson has been good over the last few innings. That's a chopper over to second base. Tough play as he throws over. Throw is late. He's safe. Banagale beats it out. Second baseman had to go back almost into the outfield grass to get that ball. It was a long throw and does not find the speedy Banagale. That's a bit of a tongue twister. The speedy Panagale at first base. So it'll be the leadoff man on for Joe Cosgrove. The third time the top of the order of the Mets has seen action. They've scored 5 runs on 6 hits. Pirates also charged with 2 errors, and a steal of home was in there as well. So a bit of luck has gone their way, but a lot of good hitting as well, it has to be said. Foul back to the screen, 1-1. That's a wild pitch in the dirt, and Banagale will slide over to second, uncontested. Nothing the catcher could do about that one. It was way over to his right. 2-1. Hurtado shakes the dust off his mask and puts himself back together. Screws back in his hook hand and puts the wooden leg back into the leg guard, and he's ready to go. And Thompson takes a sign, looks back at second, now winds and deals, and it's the same pitch again, and the runner's going to go over to third this time, although with a little bit more risk as the catcher Hurtado was on that one quickly, maybe because he saw the same pitch twice. It also took a bit more generous hop off the backstop, which is quite close to home plate here at Finsbury Park. The 3-1 is low, and the Mets get a free pass. They'll have runners at the corners. There's still nobody out. With Connor Brown, the Mets power hitting catcher, comes to the plate and digs in. Oh, he's the one with the flash red glasses. I thought it was Cosgrove, but no, it's Pollard and Brown sporting the flash red matching glasses. Takes a pretty much unhittable fastball on the outer half of the plate for strike 1. Nice pitch from Tyler Thompson. Thompson has been erratic. He's when he's been bad, he's been terrible. When he's been good, he's been great. That one's hard hit into center field, and it's out of here. Into the river for the Mets. That'll score 3 more. That ball got out of here in a hurry, maybe even a flurry. Connor Brown had a game-tying grand slam not long ago here at Finsbury Park. He's followed that up with a 3-run home run today in, it has to be said, much lower stakes, but that went to the deepest part of the outfield and cleared it by several feet. If we had StatCast, you'd probably have to say that was a home run in every ballpark in the country. So base is cleared for Ryan Dixon, still nobody out. That one's low, sharp fastball, but just below the zone. Ryan Dixon taking all the way. The 1-0. Nice fastball on the inside part of the plate to Connor Brown, 1-1. Thompson takes the second sign. It's a fastball low and away. Similar pitch to the pitches that sent men to second and then to third on the wild pitch. That's just a ball, just inside. Nice pitch from Thompson. But it's 2-1. Mets sharing this division with Toucans, Pirates, and Arrows as Dixon takes ball 4. I think I lost track of the count there. Apologies for that. It's almost like the Mets are in the 21st century while everybody else is in the 17th, because I don't know, when do we get toucans in this country? Maybe that was a bit later. It's also somewhat unusual to have 4 teams and only 1 animal. That's takes some doing. That swung under inner center field, first pitch, and that's going to find the gap and run all the way to the fence. That's going to be a stand-up double, possibly more. No, just 2 bases for Robert Jacobs. And a mock throw over to third sends Dixon sliding back, but he was never going to be able to get home on that play. It just did not have enough legs to it. But the Mets do have second and third with still nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. Eight runs now on 8 hits for the Mets and a chance to add on more with Brendan Power digging in, righty on righty. First pitch swinging right back to the second baseman, thrown over to first for the out, but Brendan Power gets his second sacrifice RBI of the day. And over to third goes Robert Jacobs, and it's 9-0. Mets 1 run away from triggering the mercy rule. They have been all over the Pirates in the 4th and the 1st inning. High and inside some chin music too. Brendan Donahue. Brendan Donahue has 2 hits and 2 at-bats for the Mets, and they both come today. Very healthy 2.5 OPS for his dribble. See if that holds here. That's a low ball. There's an unconvincing throw over to third, where Robert Jacobs is dancing on and off the bag, but never threatening. He goes back standing. Brendan Donahue with his striped pants will see a 1-1. The striped pants finishing with some Adidas shoes on the bottom, almost as if the stripes carry through all the way to the ground. Maybe we should use his pants to measure the lines next time. 2-1 to Donahue. Is a fastball down the middle of strike 2. It's kind of a slow fastball. Maybe it was intended to be a changeup, but it had more of a shape of a fastball, it has to be said. The 2-2. Swung on under, high in the air. It's going to stay in the infield and will be collected by second base. Pirates finally get a break for out number 1 in this inning. I said 1 out. I guess there's 2 outs. Where is the second out? Or rather, where is the first out? My memory is not good and my scorekeeping is even worse. It will be Peter Fornaciero to face Thompson for the 3rd time today. That swung on first pitch, and Fornaciero has his hit, and it's an RBI single. Everybody has contributed for the Mets today now. And it's 10-0. I thought that would trigger Mercy Rule. Maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering what the Mercy Rule is. Anywho, it will be Jack Pollard climbing into the box now with a man on first and 2 outs. Pollard has drawn a walk and scored in this game so far. That's a bouncing ball. Sorry, a fly ball in the infield is going to be collected in foul territory by the third baseman for the 3rd out. And I seem to have lost my scoreboard on stream. I will restore that in a moment, but it's 10-0 Mets. Angel Tejeda will be the next possible victim for Chris St. Pierre as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Mets lead 10-0. All one-way traffic here. 2 home runs, couple singles, couple sacrifice hits. One error contributing to the tally as well. That's sharply hit into center field. And a running catch is made. Nice bit of fielding from whoever that is. Ryan Dixon, of course. And there's one away in the top of the 5th for the Mets. Hurtado, the catcher, steps into the box. Righty on righty. Sees ball 1 away. Slider. Nice fastball on the inside half of the plate, 1-1. St. Pierre has been dealing extremely well throughout this game. Pirates have only 3 hits. That one's cut back to the netting, 1-2. A little bit of shade creeps over the field here as a swing and a miss, strike 3, and he's out. Ugly swing from the catcher. Hurtado retires him, and there's now 2 away for the Pirates. That will bring up Angel Medrano. Righty on righty sees strike 1, a fastball on the outside part of the plate, 0-1. And follows it up with a nice little breaking ball, which creeps back over the middle of the plate for a called second strike. Quickly 0-2 is St. Pierre, working quickly now. And 3-pitch, and he's out. Fastball. Batter looks confused. That looked right down the middle. 3-pitch strikeout for St. Pierre. Retires the side, and we will be going to the top of the 6th with the Mets still leading 10-0. Bottom of the 5th, sorry. And I believe that may be the game. I always forget how the mercy rule works, but it is 10 runs and it's now 5 innings. So, yeah. Nordwall is nodding at me, so I think I've got that right. And we will finish the game there. Oh, one-way traffic for the Mets. RBIs across the board. Connor Brown had 3 of them on one swing, but everybody got in the action. Every Met scored except for Power Donahue and Forniciero. Everybody was on base. Everybody had an RBI except for Pollard, Jacobs, and Dixon. So a great team effort there from the Mets, and St. Pierre was electric throughout with, what are his figures? 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, and that brings his ERA for the season down to a healthy 2.7. We'll be back a bit later with game 2 of the doubleheader. In about half an hour. Ryan Dixon warming up for the Mets. Had the play of the game in the previous game where he took a screamer of a catch, diving catch against the wall in center field, and then threw the guy at home out for good measure. Now he will take his turn on the mound. Having trouble bringing out of his pitching stats, but play is called in any case, and time is called as something was going on. There was a ball on the field. It's going to be a tough play at first, and the throw is high, and the throw goes over the fence and into the dugout. And the Pirates will have their man on in the top of the first. I need to try to reset the scoreboard. There we go. So man on second with the overthrow and taken all the way. Breaking ball finds the zone, strike one. That is barrel of the bat in his hand. Bit like that clip of Jess Chisholm. And takes ball one now low. Check swing, he held up, and it's ball two outside. Domarkis Moreta in the box for the Pirates. Looking to put the Pirates on the board for the first time today. They were shut out in the first game of this doubleheader. It went 10-0 to the Mets. That may be the first time the Pirates have been shut out this season. I'd have to check, but they have not had a unproductive offense generally. And they get two men on here, so first and second for the Pirates with nobody out in the top of the first. That'll bring up Christian Paul McCarthy, the center fielder. First pitch down the middle, swung on. It's going to be caught in the infield. The batter never left the box. And infield fly called slightly belatedly. So the Mets are gifted an out there, and it'll be first and second with one out for Tyler Thompson, the left fielder, moving over from the mound. Both runners going. It's the double steal. Throw is late, and he is safe at third. Both Pirates runners advance. I think that was a ball on the pitch as well. I got distracted by the action. Strike on the pitch. That one's a dribbler over to second base. That'll bring in a run. Out is made at first, but the Pirates do finally get their run. The Pirates on the board for the first time today with a sacrifice infield dribbler. Nice slider, something like that, from Ryan Dixon. Pitch number 2 is in the dirt. Runner thought about advancing should the pitch go wild, but always a risky business here at Finsbury Park, where the backstop screen is so close to home plate that scoring from third is never easy on the wild pitch or the pass ball. You have to either time it perfectly or it has to be a really wild one. Gets buried in the grass or something. The 0-1 to Thompson, righty on righty. Hit through the gap into right field, and the Pirates will score another one. A little bouncing hit that just had eyes and snuck through the infield into right field. 2-0 Pirates. Dixon has pitched well here, but some creative hitting, and there's another one, another bouncing ball through the infield into right field. Almost looked the same as the previous one. Nice throw, will hold the runner at first. It'll be first and third for the Pirates, still only one out. So some aggressive early count hitting from the Pirates has paid off. Reminiscent of Game 4 of the 99 World Series, which did not end well for my Braves, but at least they're on the board. Time called by the catcher. Robert Jacobs catching this one. Moving over from right field. Wearing a backwards hat with the label on it. That's a nice pitch, but low, and the runner steals with no throw. So it takes the double play, or most of the double plays, out of the equation for the Pirates, and they'll have second and third. Fastball. Oh, that looked like it was down the middle, but called a ball. Good spot, says Connor Brown at first, and I could not agree more. Swung on and missed. A nice high fastball gets the swing. Tough one to hit, tougher one to lay off of. And despite having 2 runs against him, Ryan Dixon should be pleased with how he's pitched so far this inning. That's another swing and a miss, similar pitch. That one was probably in the zone. 1-2. 2-2, excuse me. Just missed inside. So think with there's no point challenging the batter there. Batter moves down to first, bases loaded. It'll be Noyan Baez Ibar at the plate for the Pirates. And check swing holds back, ball one. Is it high or low, says Joe Cosgrove over at third. It's a fun browser game, but it's not the one we're playing right now. That one's outside. 2-0. Some encouragement in Spanish from the R3 to the batter, and lays off that one as well. 3-0. No place to put him. Ryan Dixon must find the zone here. Shakes off a sign, takes the second one. Fastball down the middle, strike one. Nguyen Baez Aibar optimistically had 1 foot over the plate heading to first.